Hey, what's up, nerds? Paul Conti back once again, and today I want to talk about building Stormcast Eternals on a budget. This is always a hot topic of conversation. Nobody wants to pay a full retail price for, well, anything really, ever. And this hobby can be really expensive, so I wanted to kind of go through a process that I've been personally going through, and that is building a Stormcast army from scratch on a budget. Now, there are not a lot of secondhand models on the market for Stormcast just yet. Um, it's a new army, and it's the new hotness, and people like to hold on to it so far, it seems. So, there are a lot of options available buying things retail that give you some pretty significant discounts on, compared to, buying individual boxes of things, getting, as I'm showing you here, the starter set, the Blight War box, the Start Collecting box, the Firestorm boxes, Hammerstrike Brethren. There's been other boxes in the past that are now out of print. So, you have, your MSRP, and in most places between, either a friendly local game store or eBay, you're going to be able to get somewhere in the neighborhood of like 15 to 20% off of MSRP. So that's kind of like your first big win there, is that it's pretty easy to get this stuff discounted either through eBay or through, a local game store that sells things lower than MSRP. Just a quick rundown here. The starter box retails at $125. So you can get that at a 20% discount for $100. Half the box is Stormcast, roughly, slightly more in points, but roughly half the box is Stormcast. So given the discount, you can easily pick this up, the Stormcast half of the starter box, up on eBay for somewhere between, I would say, like 50 and 65 bucks. There's a little bit of an eBay markup on that because it's, breaking up a starter box and blah, blah, blah. Same sort of deal with Blight War. It's a $160 box. So, just half of it would be like 80 bucks if you split it with a friend. Or you can probably get it at a 20% discount for in the mid 60s for, just a half of the box that you're looking for. Start Collecting box, only 85 bucks. The Firestorm boxes are 170, and they're all, the ones that include Stormcast are roughly half Stormcast. So kind of going with that math there. And the Hammerstrike Brethren box was 65 bucks, or, you can probably find it for somewhere in the low 50s fairly easily. So I want to break down exactly how big of a discount you're getting from these boxes. So out of the starter set, you're getting a Lord Celestin on Dracoth. That goes for 65 bucks retail. Lord Relictor, not available outside of some other box. Then it comes with 10 easy to build Liberators. So those are 62 bucks retail, but that is, a definite big asterisk on that there, because those are monopose guys that only come with, the one weapons loadout. And, they can go with double hammers, they can take swords. It does not include any grand hammers or great swords for the prime, so there's a little bit of a downside there. They're easy enough to convert, and I'll talk about converting a little bit later as well. It comes with 3 Retributors, so I've really just kind of broken it down to like that. 35 bucks is roughly 60% of what a Paladin box is. Again, same restrictions and terms apply as Liberators. They're monopose. They only have one weapons loadout option. If you get all of your retributors exclusively through the starter box, people bitsing out stuff from the starter box, you're not going to be able to get any Star Soul Maces, which are incredibly valuable, and good luck trying to find those in bits online. And then we get 3 prosecutors with double hammers. Once again, monopose dudes without the javelin weapons loadout option. So MSRP on this total thing comes out to about $100, and you're paying substantially less than that for the whole thing. You're getting this at almost a 70% discount off of MSRP for what's in this starter box. And of course, there are those asterisks next to a whole lot of this stuff that they're really not necessarily what you're looking for like the ideal build. You might still need to go out and buy some individual boxes of things to get the bits you're looking for, or to make particular the primes, the special weapons, all of that stuff. But it's definitely a massive discount, a really easy way to get your troops for cheap. And that savings, that's off of the top end MSRP, full price for half of the starter box. So that is, an even bigger savings compared to what you can get this stuff from, other retailers or eBay at, an even steeper discount to that. So, the Start Collecting box. This one's another fantastic value, as all of these Start Collecting boxes are. Your Lord Celestin on foot, he's $33. 5 Liberators, that's half a box of Liberators, so it's $31. It comes with 2 Retributors, which is a really odd number of Retributors. Coincidentally, pairs nicely with the starter box that gives you 3. So then with a Start Collecting box, you have a full unit of 5. And then you get 3 more Prosecutors. Now, here's the interesting thing on this. The Retributors are monopose. The Liberators and the Prosecutors are not monopose. They are the full sprue. They come with everything. So, I think this is, although it's only a savings of about a third off of MSRP, it's in some ways an even better deal because you're getting those other weapons options, which are really super valuable. The Prosecutors with double hammers kind of suck. A lot of people don't like them. Most people I have seen talk to run javelins and tridents. So that is really good. And the Liberators, the cool trick you can do with the Liberators is, put aside all of those shields, put aside all of those single hammers, and just use the contents, like those 5 Liberators, to make all of your dudes that are carrying Grand Hammers. That's what I've done personally. Between the 1 Grand Hammer that comes in this box, the other big hammer that comes for the Prosecutor Prime, and then some extra bits from Retributors to convert up some Grand Hammers. I've got 5 Liberators with Grand Hammers out of this box, so that was actually a really good hit there, really good deal. The Blight War box. Again, we have another model here that you can't get anywhere else but inside this box. Knave Black Talon, so I'm really not sure what to value her at, since you can't get her out of a blister anywhere. Comes with 3 Vanguard Raptors, 3 Vanguard Paladors, and 5 Vanguard Hunters. So the total MSRP of all of that, taking out the hero, is $125. So you're saving about 36% off of MSRP. that is also a really good deal. This is not a box that I have personally cracked open, so I can't really speak to the contents of everything. Oh, the other thing that I did not mention that's also in there is 3 Ether Wings, which those come with the Vanguard Paladors. So I don't really think of those separately. They kind of come in the box. So, but they are also in there. So, quick and dirty army build. You can pick up a starter set, pick up a start collecting box, and you come up with about 1,200 points, or 1,100 to 1,200 points, depending on where you, how you run your Lord Celestant on Dracoth, whether you're running him as the generic dude or Vandus Hammerhand. You also have a Lord Celestant, a Lord Relictor, 15 Liberators, 5 Retributors, and 6 Prosecutors. I have a typo in there. That should be 6 Prosecutors. So your total out-of-pocket cost, just, MSRP, $147. Discount, you can probably get it for about $120 pretty easily. And you've got, you're well on your way to having a nice functioning army. So this is what I've got so far. This is real talk. This is what I have actually purchased for my own army that's mostly sitting on my kitchen table next to me right now in the process of being constructed, because holy crap, I am building this army really fast. I have been financing it through selling things from other armies on eBay. Still coming up a little short at the moment, but I've still got some auctions up for sale. So the wife isn't too mad at me just yet. So I picked up a starter box, a start collecting box, a box of 10 Judicators, 2 sets of Prosecutors that are bitsed out of the starter box. So they're the monopose dudes. 15 Liberators that were bitsed out of starter boxes. I've got 6 Vanguard Raptors that were bitsed out of the Blight War box, which also, come with the Ether Wings, so I kind of don't really count those as anything, but they're points. And 5 Paladins. I actually bought a Paladin box. I did buy a Knight Azeros, but I got it out of one of the Silver Tower boxes, the one that comes with a bunch of heroes, and the Knight Azeros / Venator, and then sold the rest of the crap off on eBay. So $50 box, I ended up actually net paying like $10 for a Knight Azeros, which was pretty sweet. That's one of the other cool things that you can do, guys, is to get cheap heroes, buy those boxes that are supplements to the board games that have a hero that you want in it, and then just go sell the rest of the stuff on eBay. And then I got the book for $34. So total spend, excluding all of the bits that I've purchased in paint and basing materials and various other stuff, I'm at about $388 in cost. For this, coming up to about 2,700 points. So then there are also a few other things that I own that I owned previously that I kind of lost track of how much they actually cost or where they came from. So this is what my total army actually is looking like right now. 10 Judicators, 12 Prosecutors, 30 Liberators, 10 Retributors, 6 Vanguard Raptors, 6 Ether Wings, 2 Gryph-hounds, Vandus Hammerhand, because he is never getting run as just the Lord Celestin on Dracoth, 2 Lord Relictors, a Lord Celestant, Knight Azeros, Lord Castellant, Knight Quester, and Knight Heralder comes up to 3,240 for points. And so another thing that I am going to point out here is that For anybody that is a little bit in the know of Stormcast lists, my whole point here is to build a competitive army inexpensively and basically build towards lists. So if the 30 liberators and 12 prosecutors did not, give you a dead giveaway, I am building toward the Vanguard wing list. That actually just took down the Facehammer GT, at least one variant of it. I will be doing a video fairly soon on that particular list archetype and kind of talk about how it works, what the basics of it are, and what some of the different build options are. But in general, it is super nasty, super crazy, does awesome things, really like it a lot. The next list that I'm also going to build out towards is the Hammer Strike Brotherhood, which has some similar effects to the Vanguard wing in terms of kind of comboing stuff and how you put it on the table and all of that. So this is what I've got so far. And you can see, from the previous slide, I've only spent, like $400 on it. So not really too bad for an investment in, more than 2,000 points worth of an army. I've got some options. I've got my core all taken care of. I've got a nice complement of heroes to work with. There's not too many things that I'm really wanting for in this list. I think my next move in terms of purchases is going to be beefing up my number of Retributors that I own to run the Hammer Strike Brotherhood list, possibly buy a couple of other heroes for utility purposes, and maybe there's an outside chance that a Star Drake might happen. I need to see more reports back on what the performance of the Star Drake is. The list that took down the Facehammer GT was basically the Vanguard wing plus Lord Castellan and a Lord Celestin on Star Drake. So it's compelling. It is definitely compelling to potentially be taking that. I'm not sure yet. It is a very expensive kit, so I'm not really sure if I'm going to be making that investment just yet. I really want to see how this goes. I've got a tournament coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm still working out the finer details of what that list is actually going to be comprised of. But this is the general concept that I'm going to be working with, is running the Vanguard wing and building all of that on a pretty tight budget. I'm still working on constructing models and basing models, and this is definitely not going to be a fully painted army that hits the board for this event, but thankfully they have no painting requirements, so hopefully it all kind of works out nicely. Anyway, hopefully this guys gives you some good ideas on how to build out your Stormcast really on a budget. Again, just really the quick hits. Go on eBay, find a friend that wants to build a Khorne army, split that start collecting box, or I'm sorry, that starter box, split a Blight War box, go out and buy the start collecting box, go on eBay, look for the things that people are bitsing out of those kits, buy the couple of things that you need that are outside of that. I'm not sure if an actual box of Paladins was really necessary for me to purchase, but I wanted to get that because I definitely wanted to have some of the possibilities that come out of that box, and it's a whole hell of a lot easier to convert the just regular paladins than it is to try and convert the monopose retributors into guys with Star Soul maces. It's just a lot easier. There's a lot more space to glue stuff on, a lot less weird stuff that you have to work with. So, with some bits on eBay and, really kind of taking advantage of all of the good discounts that are really available to you just through boxes on the shelf, you can definitely buy a Stormcast army super cheap, even cheaper if you are willing to make the investment, buy something, and then go sell the stuff off on eBay that you don't want. That is a very good way to get an inexpensive starter box. Is you can buy the whole starter box, then sell off the corn half on eBay, or bits it out individually on eBay for probably more than 50% of what the starter box cost you. So then you end up buying it for, obviously, the Stormcast half for less than half of the value. But that's all kind of up to you. People like doing things different ways. I'm pretty happy with how quickly and easily this army is coming together and how inexpensive it actually is to put together really a solid Stormcast force. I'm going to be doing possibly some hobby videos on, kind of speed painting through a Stormcast force. So yeah, hot tip, that Retributor armor spray is actually awesome. I was really reluctant about using it. I tried it out. It's awesome. It makes painting this stuff go so much faster. I just have to touch up the gold and then put the non-gold things on it. And paint those up, and it doesn't really, I was concerned that it was going to lose detail in those parts, but it doesn't seem to really have that much of a loss of detail if you don't just like lather the stuff on, if you use it the way that the spray cans are intended to be used. Anyway, more forthcoming. I hope this helps guide all of you in the construction of a nice, cheap, effective Stormcast Eternal army. Some things that we're going to be talking about in the future. Well, what do you actually need for a decent Stormcast Eternals army? What different archetypes are there? What is good? What sucks? How should you build out your Judicators and your Prosecutors and your Liberators and your Retributors and your Vanguard Raptors and all of these different things? What the optimal builds are? What's good? What's a good value for the points? What interesting things are there out there that we can explore that really haven't been hit yet? The big one for me is the whole Vanguard chamber. Seems like it really is not something people have explored very much yet. And I think it has a lot of potential. So I'm going to be analyzing that as well. Not something I've really gotten too deep into yet, but we're going to be doing some math, because that's just what I do. We're going to math hammer a lot of this stuff. And, and of course, the thing I forgot to mention, all of the MSRPs that I gave you, those are in US dollars, things that you can get in the United States. My condolences to our Australian friends and our friends in New Zealand that get the total shaft on all of this stuff, or our friends in Canada that use Monopoly money, but their prices end up, shaking out to be relatively comparable. Anyway, that is all for now. I hope you all learned something. I know I learned some things. I'm learning a lot building this army, and now I need to go back to basing and painting, and so much work to do. So much work to do. I'm still working on my first test model. My first, test paint job. So some hobby stuff may be coming as well. was just working on an experiment in my basement on some different basing materials. I think I may abandon both. Anyway, I will do a video on it. I will share with you guys, and I will talk to you all later. Have a splendid evening.